Welcome, my friends, to the world of HeroQuest, a place unlike any other. And today, I'm super excited to give y'all another unboxing video. This time, it's my 2021 HeroQuest game system. Thanks to a wonderful member on our HeroQuest Reddit page, Subject Brief, I can now take my standard game system and level it up to the heroic tier by the addition of this wonderful small box and its awesome 5 sculpts. This is the Fair Weatherman. Once again, I want to thank all of my subscribers for joining me on the quest to explore the realms of the old world. I offer my deepest gratitude to this glorious fellowship for your unwavering support. If you haven't pushed the orange play button yet, I hope I can earn your subscription today. Recently, I've seen a few videos from the HeroQuest community of showing people how they box up their HeroQuest game system. And as you can see, this is a 2021 game system release. I unfortunately missed out on the Mythic and the Heroic tier editions back during the HeroQuest relaunch on Hasbro Pulse. A big shout out to Subject Brief on the HeroQuest Reddit page for sending me this small box of 5 epic alternative sculpts, something that was included in the heroic release of HeroQuest in 2020. I'm excited to open this little box up and to show everyone what you would have received on the heroic portion of the campaign Kickstarter back in 2020. And then I'm also going to demonstrate how I pack my HeroQuest game system box up at the end of every quest. So let's get into this. As you can see upon opening, I have all of my character sheets stacked up right on top. My rule book, my quest book. I have the addition of my Fair Weatherman dice tray. Thank you, Jeremiah at Victory Designs on Etsy. There you go. I also have a bag of the tiles. As well as a tin from Jeremiah with the standard white combat dice and red dice, as well as a set of black dice I use for Zargon. I also have my compendium book that I've shown in a few videos thus far with all of the monsters that I've homebrewed, as well as the standard ones found in all of the expansions. The game screen. Okay, and this is where it starts to change a little bit. If I remember right, when I opened up this box originally, there was 2 cardboard sleeves that housed all the figures. I did away with those so I can fit more inside. And so what I did is I took the game board and placed it on top. And to get it to fit snug and not bang around, I cut 2 pieces of cardboard here to keep it in place. And then I collapsed that initial cardboard insert to add it as a divider between the top components and the bottom. And as you can see, I like to have everything organized. I started out by taking the boxes from the Monk expansion as well as the Rogue and cutting some cardboard to make a tray out of them. I found that that's really helpful to help organize my figures, but also to preserve these boxes because I think they're really neat. The artwork's fantastic on them. So I have it divided with the actual Rogue insert that came with it, where the 2 figures were. And I have all of my undead figures, my skeletons, mummies, zombies here. And I have all of my hero figures here, which I'm gonna then place here in a minute. My alternative female sculpts that will go in there as well. Now mind you, I like to keep all my expansions separate. I know there's a lot of people who have taken all the figures out of all the expansions and put them into one giant plastic container, but I like to keep all of my expansions and the figures that came with them together. That way I know where everything is on the shelf. But here I have all the figures as well as some alternative sculpts I've bought online. So you have your standard elf, barbarian, dwarf, and wizard, as well as the monk and the rogue. These boxes come in really handy. This side alone will hold my newly painted cupboards and bookshelves, and then all the doors will fit into this side. And it just sits real nice and snug inside that little cardboard insert. Above that, I have my monk boxes, one of which will hold all the cards. Oh, shoot. And I'll be sure to add a link for y'all to go and download these. I know there was a seller selling them on Etsy, but if I remember right, they're based out of the UK. And I went to order them at one point when I first bought my set, and the shipping was gonna be outrageous. So I went ahead and just made some boxes and printed them out on my home computer on some cardstock. And they will fit everything and then some. This one I have a lot of my homebrew cards in here. Here's my dungeon event cards, my giant toad, giant spiders. But I have my treasure cards in here, as well as my dread spells and wizard cards in here. And as you can see, this box has really been worn over the past year or so, so I might print out another one here pretty soon. But all the cards will fit inside here. So I'll be sure to add a link for y'all to download for free and print them off. Anything to help the community. I have the scroll that came with the monk expansion here, as well as the toads I use for dungeon events. And then I also like to use these business card holders while I play HeroQuest, just to keep all of the spells situated and all the artifacts collected in the gold. And so all my players can keep everything off the table and just into these little tiny trays. My Dread Sorcerer's just chilling out over there too. On this side, I have the rest of my furniture, all from the standard game system. I believe I have one extra table from my Elven set that doesn't quite fit in the expansion box. I kept all the inserts in those. All of my painted furniture fit really nice over here, as well as my set of furniture bases that I like to use to just make the board that much more elegant and the furniture to stand out. They're also really helpful when you play with younger players like my children to know where the hero and the monsters can stand. Something like a table in the middle of the room would make it kind of confusing for a younger player to know where they can move and where they can't. Up top you can see I have all of my monster sculpts and then some, all separated by their monster type. All of my orcs are there. All the goblins fit in there nicely on the side. My abominations fit real nice over there next to the orcs. My dread warrior, as well as my chaos archers that I nabbed from Battle Masters, another fantastic 90s RPG tabletop game. Here I have a couple alternative sculpts, some of my favorite ones of the Female that I like to interchange for my abominations every now and again. Here's another fantastic sculpt. Next to them I have some of my Doom Guards that I got from Mountain View 3D, ready to be interchanged at any moment for a Dread Warrior. And then I have a Chaos Warrior, a couple versions of those, another Doom Guard. Grak and Olag sculpts right here. So as you can see, I can hold quite a bit in this box. And if I were to remove some of the things like my card holders, I can fit even more. Oh yeah, and I completely forgot too. On this top right corner, I have things like my spiders. I have my goblin mercenary, the fair weatherman right here. And temporarily, I say this because I'm holding out hope that we will actually get Wizards of Morcar this year. But I have all of the evil wizards that you will find in the Wizards of Morcar. I got these from Minis 3D. I really like the way these sculpts look, a little bit more modernized from the original release. maybe we'll receive an official re-release of it this year. I also have a couple more cool dungeon events, monsters, my large spiders, my rats, and then my wandering mercenary, which I also got from Mini30. I encourage everyone to check out my dungeon events video, where I explain how I go about utilizing these homebrew elements into my gameplay. Check it out, I'll add the link in the description below. But as you can see, all these little compartments that I had hot glued with the cardboard do provide quite a bit of space for more than just the game system, leaving you to upgrade and continue to add to your box. The question is where I'm going to fit all of these alternative sculpts. For those of you who don't know, Subject Brief is one of the top contributors and commenters on the HeroQuest Reddit page. He's created a HeroQuest website, Board Game Quest, that's your #1 stop for all things HeroQuest and OrcQuest. The website allows you to explore the rich history of these classic games and discover new resources. If you're a seasoned adventurer or just starting on your journey, Board Game Quest is your guide. It'll help you navigate the complexities of HeroQuest by clarifying confusing product lines. And for the passionate homebrewer out there, he'll eventually showcase the incredible fan-created content that has enriched this beloved game. If you've been following along on Reddit, you know this project began with a desire to create a collaborative space for homebrewers, but it became evident on the Reddit page that there were a lot of recurring questions from new players, prompting the need to create a resource where players can find answers to questions that they haven't yet even known to ask. It has a list of all of the content that's been officially released, what's readily available, and what's become discontinued. And this website is something that's going to continue to grow as we have more people contribute to its contents. So thank you so much, Subject Brief. I'm ever grateful. So let's get into this. So this is what you would have received if you had ordered the heroic tier. And here are the alternative sculpts. You got the Female Barbarian, one that you do get in the Frozen Horror, but it's a different sculpt and a different artwork. But this is the Female Barbarian. Fantastic pose, demonstrating her amazing strength. I'm sure these paint up really nice whenever I branch out of my furniture painting and move on to heroes, which will probably be my first thing that I decide to paint once I get all my furniture completed. The Female Dwarf, something we have not quite yet received. Hopefully that'll be coming soon. One that I'm still holding out hope on that will be released in one of the expansions, maybe Crypt of Perpetual Darkness. The Dwarf character is just a fantastic hero. Accessible for anyone to jump in and play and start clobbering monsters. Happens to be my son's favorite hero, and it's really cool to have an official sculpt of the female. This is the alternative sculpt I was using. This sculpt does look more like the Explorer, but I found it to be equally as awesome. She does yield a really cool axe. Super thrilled to have this one in my collection. We have the male version of the standard game elf in the same heroic pose as the 2021 release. I think out of all the elf releases that we received so far and all the expansions, my favorite is going to have to be the First Light female elf. I really like that pose that she has, a little timid, showing signs of bravery, ready to get into the fight. I think for me that best represents the elf hero. Although of course the homebrew champion elf is also a fantastic sculpt as well, which I talk about a lot in my videos, but it's not something I created, so don't think that I'm so responsible for that. It is something someone else created, but I just showed everyone how to make your own out of the statue from Rise of the Dreadman. So if you haven't quite seen that one, look in the description below and check that one out. But this is another fantastic sculpt. And the female wizard, which we will hopefully get in the Wizards of Morcar. Really awesome to have this one now. It feels great You know, the sculpt was growing on me, the wizard sculpt. It wasn't always my favorite. I do think I favor the female version of this sculpt better than the male version. Maybe because she's not as much of a hippie. Here's the sculpt I was using for the longest time. But it feels really great to actually have the official sculpt. And also included in this box is a Sir Ragnar that you would rescue in the original quest book. Here's my alternative version of the Sir Ragnar sculpt that I purchased on Etsy as soon as I got my game system. It's a really fantastic sculpt as well, but now we have a more disheveled and caveman-like Sir Ragnar. And there you have it. It's just really cool to have these official figures. A fantastic little box too that it comes in. Can't go wrong with the artwork. You know, and heck, I might just keep them in this box if I can find a way to maybe make it fit within my larger set. And that's how everything can fit nice and snug in the retail release of HeroQuest. But that's all I have for y'all today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to continuing to create more content around HeroQuest and Advanced HeroQuest. I kind of put one of the videos I had planned on pause when I got the news I was receiving this box this week. If you're new to the channel, I thank you so much for joining me, and I'm so happy that I've earned your subscription. As always, danger, you will soon discover, lurks in every shadow. Your survival depends on your ability to work together, for no true hero stands alone. Come, let the quest begin.